Good evening. It's January 21st, and we are going to read from Genesis 42:18 through 43:44, Matthew 13:47 through 14:12, Psalms 18:16 through 30, and Proverbs 4:3 through 9. Let's get started. Proverbs, January 21st, we're going to read Genesis 42:18 through 43:34. So we've been talking about Jacob and his, no, Joseph, my fault, and the coat of many colors, pretty much. And we're talking about Joseph, and we're at the good part now where his brothers have come to the Pharaoh in Egypt to get grain because they're in a famine, and he sent them back to get his last brother Benjamin, his youngest brother. So that's about where we left off. All right. On the third day, Joseph spoke to them, "Do this, and you'll live. I'm a God-fearing man, and if you're honest, as you say you are, one of your brothers will stay here in jail while the rest of you take the food back to your hungry families. But you have to bring your youngest brother back to me, confirming the truth of your speech, and not one of you will die." So they agreed. Then they started talking amongst themselves. Now we're paying for what we did to our brother. We saw how terrified he was when he was begging for us for mercy. We wouldn't listen to him, and now we're the ones in trouble. Reuben broke in. "Didn't I tell you? Don't hurt the boy?" But no, you wouldn't listen, and now we're paying for his murder. Joseph had been using an interpreter, so they didn't know that Joseph was understanding every word. Joseph turned away from them and cried. When he was able to speak again, he took Simeon and he and had him tied up, making a prisoner of him while they watched. Then Joseph ordered that their sacks be filled with grain, that their money be put back in their sack, and that they be given rations for the road. That was all done for them. They loaded their food supplies, their donkeys, and set off. When they stopped for the night, one of them opened the sack to get food for his donkey. There at the mouth of his bag was his money. He called out to his brothers, "My money has been returned. It's right here in my bag." They were puzzled and frightened. What's God going to do to us? When they got back to their father, Jacob, in the land of Canaan, they told him everything what had happened, saying, "The man who runs the country spoke as roughly and accused us of being spies. We told him we were honest men and in no way are spies. There were 12 of us brothers, sons, and one father. One is gone, and the youngest is with our father in Canaan." But the master of the country said, "Leave one of your brothers with me, take food for your starving families, and go bring your youngest brother back to me, proving that you're the honest men and not spies. And then I'll give your brother back to you, and you'll be free to come and go in this country." As they were emptying their food sacks, each man came on his purse of money, and seeing their money, they and their family were upset. Their father said to them, "You're taking everything I've got. Joseph's gone, Simeon's gone, and now you want to take Benjamin. If you have your way, I'll be left with nothing." Reuben spoke up, "I'll put my two sons in your hands as hostage. If I don't bring Benjamin back, you can kill them. Trust me, with Benjamin, I'll bring him back." But Jacob refused. "My son will not go down with you. His brother is dead, and he is all I have left. If something bad happens to him on the road, you'll put me put my gray and sorrowing head in the grave." The famine got worse. When they had eaten all the food that they had brought back from Egypt, the father said, "Go back and get some more food." But Judah said, "The man warned us most empathetically. You won't so much as see my face if you don't have your brother with you. If you're ready to release our brother to go with us, we'll go down and get food. But if you're not ready, we aren't going. What would be what would we what would be the use?" The man told us, "You won't so much see my face if you don't have your brother with you." Israel said, "Why are you making my life so difficult? Why did you ever tell the man you had another brother?" They said, "The man pressed us hard, asking pointed questions about our family. Is your father alive? Do you have another brother?" So we answered his questions. "How do we know that you're not saying, 'Bring your brother here'?" How do we know that he'd say, "Bring your brother here"? Judah pushed his father Israel. "Let's go. Let's let the boy go. I'll take charge of him. Let us go on our and be on our way. If we don't get going, we're all going to starve to death." We and you and our children, too. I'll take full responsibility for his safety. It's my life on the line for this. If I don't bring him back safe and sound, I'm the guilty one. I'll take all the blame. And if we had gone ahead in the first place instead of procrastinating like this, we would have been there and back twice. The father Israel gave in. If it has to be, it has to be. But do this: stuff your pockets with the finest products from the land you can find, and take them to the man as gifts. Some balm and honey, some spices and perfume, some pistachios and almonds, and take plenty of money. Pay back double what was returned to your sacks. That might have been a mistake. Take your brother and get going. Get back to the man, and may the strong God give your grace in the man's eyes, so that he'll send back your brother along with Benjamin. For me, nothing's left. I've lost everything. The men took the gifts, doubled the money, and Benjamin. They lost no time in getting to Egypt and meeting Joseph. When Joseph saw that they had Benjamin with them, he told his house steward, "Take these men into the house and make them at home. Butcher an animal and prepare a meal. These men are going to eat with me at noon." The steward did what Joseph had said and took them inside. But they became anxious when they were brought into Joseph's home, thinking, "It's the money. He think we ran off with the money on our first trip down here. And now he's got us where he wants us. He's going to turn us into slaves and confiscate our donkeys." So then so they went up to Joseph's house and steward and talked he went up to Joseph's house steward and talked to him in the doorway and said, "Listen, master, we came down here one other time to buy food on our way home. The first night out, we opened our bags and found our money at the mouth of the bag, the exact amount we paid. We've brought it all back and have plenty more to buy more food with. We have no idea who put the money in our bags." The steward said, "Everything's in order. Don't worry. Your God and the God of our father must have given you a bonus. It was paid in full." And with that, he presented Simeon to take to them. He then took them into Joseph's house and made them comfortable, gave them water and washed their feet, and saw that the feeding of their donkeys. The brothers spread out their gifts as they waited for Joseph to show up at noon. They had been told that they were to have dinner with him. When Joseph got home, they presented him with the gifts they had brought and bowed respectfully before him. Joseph welcomed them and said, "And your old father, whom you mentioned to me, how is he? Is he still alive?" They said, "Yes. Your servant, our father, is quite well, very much alive." And they again bowed respectfully before him. Then Joseph picked out his brother Benjamin, his own mother's son. He asked, "And is this your youngest brother that you told me?" They said, "God be gracious to you, my son." Deeply loved on seeing his brother and about to burst into tears, Joseph hurried out into the other room and had a good cry. Then he washed his face and got a grip on himself and said, "Let's eat." Joseph was served at his private table, and the brothers off by themselves, and the Egyptians off by themselves. Egyptians won't eat at the same table with the Hebrews. It repulses to them. Didn't know that. The brothers were eating, facing Joseph, arranged in order on their age, from the oldest to the youngest. They looked at one another wide-eyed, wondering what happened next. When the brothers' plates were served from Joseph's table, Benjamin's plate came piled high, far more than the other brothers. And so the brothers feasted while Joseph drank freely. I said this yesterday. This story is going to last for about probably another 3 or 4 days. So the breakdown for Genesis 42:18 through 43:44. Joseph moves from testing his brothers to extending grace. He holds Simeon, demands Benjamin, and watches to see if they were changed. Judah steps up and takes responsibility, no longer the selfish brother, but a leading leader willing to sacrifice. When Joseph sees Benjamin's compassion overwhelms him. This is about transformation. God uses pressure to reveal character, and repentance opens the door to restoration. Favor returns when hearts change and not just circumstances. Wow. This is about transformation. God uses pressure to reveal character, and repentance opens the door to restoration. Favor returns when hearts change, not just circumstances. Matthew 13:47 through 14:12. Okay. O God, King, O God, God's kingdom is like a fish net cast into the sea, catching all kinds of fish. When it is full, it is hauled onto the beach. The good fish are picked out and put in the tub. Those unfit to eat are thrown away. That's how it will be when the curtain comes down on history. The angels will come and cull the bad fish and throw them in the garbage. There will be a lot of desperate complaining, but it won't do any good, Jesus said. Are you starting to get a handle on this? They answered yes. He said, then how you see every student well trained in God's kingdom is like the owner of a general store who can put his hands on anything you need, old and new, exactly when you need it. When Jesus finished telling these stories, he left, returned to his hometown, and gave a lecture in the meeting house. He stole the show, impressing everyone. We had no idea he was this good, they said. How did he get so wise, get such ability? But in those next breath, they were cutting him down. We've known him since he was a kid. He's the carpenter's son. We know his mother, Mary. We know his brothers, James and Joseph, Simon and Judas. All his sisters live here. But does this? But does he think? Who does he think he is? They got all bent out of shape. But Jesus said, a prophet is taken for granted in his hometown and his family. He didn't do many miracles because of their hostile indifference. Ouch. A prophet is taken for granted in his hometown and his family. He didn't do many miracles there because of a hostile indifference. I'm going to jump into something real quick. I've heard the statement that an expert is someone from out of town. I have 25 years of coaching and mentoring people, and the people locally in the town I'm in, they've seen it, they've heard it, they don't want it. But when I speak to people in other towns, it's like they absorb it and they write down everything I have to say, and it's really just right here in the Bible. A prophet is taken for granted in his hometown and his family. He didn't do any miracles there because of their hostile indifference. Well, that gets highlighted. Okay, at about this time, Herod, the regional ruler, heard what was being said about Jesus. He said to his servants, this has to be John the Baptizer, come back from the dead. That's why he's able to work miracles. Herod had arrested John, put him in chains, and sent him to prison to placate Herodias. His brother Philip's wife, John, had provoked Herod by naming him his relationship with Herodias, adultery. Herod wanted to kill him, but he was afraid. He was afraid because so many people revered John as a prophet of God. But at his birthday celebration, he got a chance. Herodias' daughter provided the entertainment, danced for the guests. She swept Herod away. In his drunken enthusiasm, he promised her on oath anything she wanted. Already coached by her mother, she was ready. Give me, served up on a platter, the head of John the Baptizer. That sobered the king up fast. Unwilling to lose face with his guest, he did it, ordered John's head cut off and presented to the girl on a platter. She in return gave it to her mother. Later, John's disciples got the body, gave it a reverent burial, and reported to Jesus. Ain't the way to go. So the breakdown of Matthew 13:47 through 14:12, Jesus explains the dragnet. Everyone is gathered, but not everyone is kept. Judgment is real and unavoidable. Then we see John the Baptist, faithful, bold, and uncompromising, killed for speaking truth. The lesson is sobering. Righteousness doesn't guarantee safety, but it guarantees significance. Truth may cost you your life, but compromise costs your soul. Wow. Psalms 18:16 through 30, but he caught me, reached all the way from sky to sea. He pulled me out of the ocean of hate, the enemy chaos, the void in which I was drowning. They hit me when I was down, but God stuck with me. He stood me up on the wide open field. I stood there saved, surprised to be loved. God made my life complete. When I placed all the pieces before him, when I got my act together, he gave me a fresh start. Now I'm going to alert to God's ways. I don't take God for granted. Every day I review the ways he works. I try not to miss a trick. I feel put back together, and I'm watching my step. God rewrote the text of my life when I opened the book of my heart to his eyes. The good people taste your goodness. The whole people taste your health. The true people taste your truth. The bad ones can't figure you out. They take the side of the down and out. But the stuck up, you take down a notch. That just doesn't come out right. But the stuck up you take down a notch. Suddenly, God, you floodlight my life. I'm blazing with glory, God's glory. I smash the bands of marauders. I vault the highest fences. What a God! His road stretches sights and smooth every God. Direction is road tested. Everyone who runs towards him makes it. So the breakdown of Psalms 18:16 through 30 says David praises a God who rescues, strengthens, and rewards integrity. God reaches down, pulls him from the deep waters, and trains his hand for battle. This is a warrior faith, not passive belief, but lived obedience. God has a shield to those who walk upright. The same God who saves you also equipped you to stand up and win. Proverbs 4:3 through 9. When I was a boy at my father's knee, the pride of my and joy of my mother, he would sit me down and drill me. Take this to heart. Do what I tell you live. Sell, sell everything and buy wisdom. Forage for understanding. Don't forget one word. Don't deviate an inch. Never walk away from wisdom. She guards your life. Love her. She keeps her eye on you. Above all and before all, do this. Get wisdom. Write this on the top of your list. Get understanding. Throw your arms around her. Believe me, you won't regret it. Never let it go. She'll make your life glorious. She'll garland your life with grace. She'll festoon your days with beauty. The breakdown of Proverbs 4:3 through 9 says, wisdom is passed from father to son like a sacred inheritance. Get wisdom at all cost. It protects, honors, and elevates you. Wisdom isn't information, it's direction. When you value wisdom, it shapes your path. When you ignore it, life teaches you the hard way. Lord, how many of y'all have been leading, like going through things the hard way? Wasn't my first time going through the hard way, I'll tell you that. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for those that join. Subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a better than good day.